Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm a little late to this one, but we got the opposition for Iran's focus tree for this dev diary. So I'm going to try to get this one up tonight. I should have paid more attention. I didn't notice that it was up. There's also the arts and achievement. I'll probably record that tonight and then put it up sometime tomorrow for anyone who's keeping track. But before we get into it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really excited for Graveyard of Empires to drop. I'm looking forward to making some more videos, so without further ado, let's get into it. So now we're getting into the opposition of Iran, not the historical. And we kind of went over this. They showed it off last time. So we already saw that like there's the communist branch. It looks like more of a shared historical, like a shared branch that with the communist about this. And then you got joining the Allies. And then you got this fascist Greater Iran. So let's see what they go with it. So we got established the National Front. Before we dive in, national defense. Doing so will unlock decisions in which you can decide on where to place your headquarters should a civil war break out. And let me be real with you, folks, it probably will. All right, so it looks like it's most likely an unavoidable civil war, but maybe not. This will make you state your capital. This will allow you to take some more decisions through the next focuses, which will help you support the Shah and establish opposition groups. So we got rally behind this guy. This goes down into that one where you can either go westernization or kind of stay more with the, I guess maybe historical ways. I don't know. Towards republic, restoring constitutional limits. Okay. He's a prominent Iranian politician, author, and lawyer. To this day, he remains one of the most popular figures. You should be able to avoid conflict completely, becoming a full democracy if instead you decide to enforce a constitutional monarchy. All right, so this is strengthen the Iranian parliament. Yep. Pretty nice spirit, not bad. If Democratic Party has less than 30% support, the Shah will launch a civil war against us. That's pretty cool. Like, maintaining certain amounts of support can cause civil war if not. I like that mechanic. That makes the the actual party popularity and stuff make sense, because it's kind of weird that you can have 40% Democratic support and then nothing happens, or 40% fascist support and you're just fine. So then you get rising opposition, which isn't great, and gives you ticking for all the other ideologies. Makes sense. Forced abdication. This start a civil war. The National Front becomes ruling party. Democratic Party is provisional government. Rising opposition. At this point, you're now a democracy, and it's time to open up free elections and decide who you want to lead your nation. You will have 3 options with each their own perks. Mosag, Frogi, and Kashani. If you choose to follow a constitutional monarchy, there will also be an option of strengthening the power of the Islamic clergy and generally reject overt westernization. This won't result in a takeover, but will ensure that the religion will continue to have a place in your new government. There's that split with nationalization versus increased oil sales. There are 2 ways in which foreign policy can go when playing democratic Iran. One will take you down a path of an anti-colonialist movement in the Middle East, which I will touch on after the communist branch. Both ideologies can take this, and joining up with the allies. The latter will allow you to secure Iraq and Afghanistan to have better control over the region and ensure the Middle East remains democratic. Like I said, I will discuss international solidarity a bit later, but first let's take a look at the communist branch. So yeah, this is like a joining the allies, and they let you have kind of dominion over the Middle East because you're working with them. That's pretty cool. So here's the communist branch. We get a good look at it. Looks pretty cool. We got a more Soviet aligned versus Iranian socialism. And you got the People's Air Force versus, so you focus on the Air Force or the Navy. That makes sense. You're a small nation. Can't really afford to do everything. Alright. So the Tudeh Party was an Iranian communist party that had considerable influence in the early years, following on, which was not left to China, but we also played a role. Oh, get rid of that. Backbone of the National Front. Even though their membership never exceeded the several hundreds, they remain a potential route to take your efforts to bring the communist revolution. In order to proceed down this path, it is crucial that you reach out to the Kurdish and Azerbaijan separatists, promising them independence when you've taken power. Once you carry out your revolution, you will have a certain amount of time to deliver your promise of independence, so they take it by force. Alright. Yeah, we got the top where you pick your sides and reforms and shit. Once you rise to power, it'll be time to make some decisions on what to do, given the proximity towards the Soviet Union. Regardless of whether you or not you align with them directly, you'll be working closely with them. Makes sense. After working on reconstructing your industry and making some changes to your country, the path of the Iranian communist tree becomes a lot more focused on building a military and engaging in foreign policy. Yep, here we go. We see the economy, diversify the industry, and your pick. Makes sense. Going down. In order to keep up with the military behemoth of your communist neighbor, the latter part of the branch focuses on collaborating with them in order to strengthen your military technology. This should help the Iranian communist player prepare for any threats of their new ideology. On the flip side, we can talk about the international solidarity. Yeah, here's the Islamic Brotherhood, international solidarity, destabilizing Iraq, disrupt the great game, support Pashtun nationalism, revolution. All right, so this is interesting because this is also shared with the Democratic branch. This little sub-branch is shared by the Communist and Democratic tree and will give you the opportunity to cause a little chaos in the region. For many years, European powers have held colonial dominance in the Middle East, and now it's time to disrupt their great game and expel them from these lands. Don't get it entirely twisted, however. There are gains to be made here, after all. The lands are under your protection, and they won't be in the hands of the great empires either. These focuses will give you an opportunity to destabilize your immediate neighbors and solidarity a sense of control in the region. Afterwards, you can encourage resistance in the borderlands and eventually stake your own claims around the Persian Gulf, replacing the external imperial powers with your own hegemony. Alright, here's the fascist path. This looks pretty good. I'm really excited to look at this one. Historically, the hyper-nationalist party SUMKA was not formed until the 1950s under the leadership of that dude, and was directly inspired and reflective of the leadership of Germany during World War II. In the context of our branch here, they will be formed early and will not be the main party leading the new fascist Iran. First, we begin by uniting those with nationalist sentiments and collate them into forming that party. Whilst it brings a hit to stability, it will start to take favor to be more in line with fascism. All right, yep. Form them, sway the elite. Yep, makes sense. By organizing shock trooper marches, more of the military will join your side when the coup begins, meaning you can overwhelm the Shah with numbers, ultimately leading to an easier grab for power. However, this is also the option to sway the elite to Iran on your side. When the war is over and you have secure power, it will give your opportunity to select a new Shah who will be more sympathetic to your cause, relegating him to nothing more than a figurehead. With that underway, it's time to take your stand. Yep, Shahist Iran, Imperial State of Iran. Looks good. Here's the actual tree. We got, picking Shah, and Iranianism, which faction you're going with. There's the Turkey and war integration, Afghanistan, Iraq, proclaim Greater Iranian diaspora in the Soviet Union, proclaim Greater Iran, and then you get curtail Pan-Arabianism and Eastern expansion. Looks good. Let's see if they have anything. Oh, and then down at the bottom there can only be one. After a brutal civil war, it's time to rebuild your nation as something more befitting a hyper-nationalist and fascist regime. You can enforce secularism, which has caused a dip in support, stability, and research for a while, but will ultimately allow you to spearhead new technologies through a research slot. You may also establish your own secret police plain order. Eventually, though, you'll need to make a choice. Will you side with the nationalists in Germany, align yourself with the Japanese Empire, or go your own way and develop your own bloc? Either of these ways will allow the Iranian player to begin intervening in their neighbor's business, staking claims on Turkey, Iraq, and Afghanistan before eventually turning your gaze to the pesky communists of the north, Germany and Iran, who will bring a new world order. After forming Greater Iran, you have a few choices ahead of you. Sow discourse in the Middle East by flaring tensions between the Arab nations and turning them against each other. Turn your gazes to India and deal with the fracturing of imperial power in the region. But ultimately, there is one final boss to deal with. There can only be one superpower in the world, and if you have it your way, it will not be Germany. Welcome to the graveyard of empires. And that, generals, brings us to the end. Blah, blah, blah. So now we're going to move on to some of the dev replies, because there's only like 3, so I didn't think it was worth even not putting them in. So, who can choose as a Shah? You can either keep whatever as a puppet king, or have Mohadiza. I'm probably not saying that right. Who will be in control of the country following the takeover. Take the crown instead. Who can you choose as Shah? Yeah, they already said that. This is a big one. Pakistan and Bangladesh are still very much part of the Indian narrative, and thus can be freed. You can also play them, I suppose. Like most releasables, ironically, I would say that the line was removed due to adding content after the first version was written. Let's see what they say versus something about probably taken away. Yeah, formerly heavy is implied that we could play. I don't mind change thing. And okay, we already assumed that. So that'll wrap it up for this dev diary. Thank you guys for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.